So I received an email this week asking if I could maybe go over some of the techniques that Abraham uses when he's playing. And I am by no means an authority on this. I've learnt a lot off Abraham from watching him play and listening to him and copying him. So I thought I'd maybe share some of the things that I feel defines his style with regards to technique. So the little intro you just saw was my vague attempt at doing something slightly Laboriel style. So the first thing we're going to talk about is actually his fingers and the use of nails. Now, I cannot play with the length of nails that Abraham plays with. If you ever see close-ups of his fingers, his fingernails are, I'm not going to say they're long, but for a bass player they're long. Whereas I like to keep mine cut short. So rather than it being, I don't know whether I'm going to be able to do this because my nails aren't long enough, but rather than it being that kind of a tone, it's very much like he's incorporating the nail into his sound. So that really does make a difference because it's very rare for a bass player to play with nails. So that's the first thing. Especially when he plays those famous triplet runs, it's incorporating the nail, and it really does give it a bright sound. So the first technique I wanted to go through was that 3-finger triplet technique I just played. He does that a lot, maybe not so much on the Hosanna Music series, but whenever I've seen him play with Lee Rittenauer or Dave Gruzan, or who else have I seen him do it with his own band, with Quinonia. He play. This is like classic Abraham Laboriel. He does that all the time if he's going to play a solo, and it's great. I love it. So the way he's doing that is he's just plucking with the first 3 fingers of the right hand. If you manage to get hold of his instructional video, New Bass Concepts, I believe it's on YouTube now. New Bass Concepts. I had that video in the mid '90s, and I hammered it into obliteration. Like it was, the video was actually ruined by the time I'd finished with it. So the way I developed this was just by copying him and sat, even watching TV, just sat slowly going 1 2 3 1 2 3, thumb, index, middle, and then gradually increasing the speed. And then then the way he's playing that lick is he's playing thumb and then 2 index and then middle, and then when you put it all together fast, and then when you so after you finish the thumb and the first 2 fingers, then thumb and then 2 fingers, it just repeats itself. So I'm playing this over a G minor pentatonic. And then what I played before that, then I moved into the F minor pentatonic after that. Then kind of a bit more up to speed to get the effect. That's like classic Abraham Laboriel. So that's the 3-finger technique. Then he also plays a lot with all the fingers of the right hand, all 5. Now, because of the length of my little finger, or maybe it's just my ineptitude, I really struggle to play with 5 fingers. So for example, on the piece "I See the Lord," which I posted a few weeks ago, I believe he plays it with all 5 fingers, like with a tremolo effect. Like now, I'm using 4 there: ring finger, middle finger, index, and thumb. And you can hear a little bit of the nail, but my nails aren't quite long enough. But he uses the ring. He incorporates the little finger, into that as well. Now, on his instructional video, he talks about how he will do thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring, and then go backwards again. Ring, middle, index, thumb. I can only do it that way for whatever reason. I'm not sure whether it's because I'm left-handed and left-brained, so therefore I want to go that way. But I struggle. I can do it that way to a certain speed, but then it feels uncomfortable. I prefer to go thumb and then ring, middle, index, thumb, ring, middle, index, and do it that way around to get the same speed. So that's another technique. Like I say, see what works for you. But for me, it works going that way from the ring finger back to the thumb to get the speed. Whereas you might feel more comfortable going that way. Doesn't matter. It's what it sounds like that's important. We've then got the classic thumb snap pluck that he does, which I kind of alluded to last week. So almost any time you hear a solo by Abe on the Hosanna series where it's funky, he'll be using this technique. So, like I said last week, rather than it being that, it's that, and it's a very different sound, and it's very unique. I don't think I've ever seen anybody use this technique other than Abraham himself. And then he'll pluck with his middle finger rather than the index. I'm not sure whether that's because he lost the tip of his index when he was younger, and that's why he plucks with the middle finger. I'm not entirely sure, and I've never been able to ask him. So let me think. So he uses that technique on the solo for Light of Life, if I can do this. Etc., etc. He also does it in Ancient of Days. Where else is it? I've seen him do it so many times, but that's how he gets that slap pluck sound, by coming underneath the string and really pulling it. Next one, what have we got? What he refers to as the strum roll on his instruction DVD or video, as it was back then, and that's by where he's flicking the strings with his fingers. On the Hosanna series, the most notable time I've seen him use that is on the Doing a Good Work solo on the Alvin Slaughter video, God Can, by where he comes in like this. Something like that. So this one is really difficult, and I still am working on this to this day, however many years later. And the best way I could come to it is running the thumb across the fingers. So once the thumb has left the first index finger, it lands instantly onto the next one. Can you see that? I'll show you. And then he's just releasing it onto the strings. Like I say, I'm really poor at this, and I cannot even begin to describe to you the kind of level that Abraham is doing this at, because it's so difficult. But I'm guessing it's some kind of flamenco technique that he will have picked up in Mexico, but I can't be sure. I would assume so. Let's give that a little go. Again, he does it over the fingerboard, and he kind of bends his wrist slightly when he does it, if you can see there. Like I say, I'm really poor at this. So that's that one. And then we've got the regular one we talked about last week, by where he will go through the string and land on the string below. But we kind of covered that last week with the Battle is the Lord's lick. But I really enjoy that, the way he does that, because it's a lot less in your face than the Mark King, Victor Wooten slap style, where it's all like loads of plucks going on. Whereas him, because he's not plucking, it's all thumb. I just prefer it. I prefer the lack of plucks, and to me it works better with a drummer, because those plucks can sometimes sonically like interfere with the hi-hat and the snare, I've noticed, and if you're not absolutely bang on, it becomes a mess. Whereas Abraham's method of sticking with the thumb and just doing that without the plucks, I think that works. For me personally, it works better in a band context than doing the crazy Mark King style. Don't get me wrong, I love Mark King and I think he's incredible, but that's just my opinion. And I think that's probably about it with regards to techniques. I mean, obviously he does a lot of glissando type things, by where you will often hear him go, or there's a lot of that goes on throughout the Hosanna series. So hopefully that helps with regards to Abraham's technique. I am, like I say, I am no expert by any means, but I've been listening to him for a long time and watching him for a long time, so I've picked up a few things along the way. Hopefully that helps. Thanks for watching.